Good afternoon, children. So, how are you all? Hopefully, you all are studying very well because every teacher is taking the best effort to provide you with the study materials, and you all are utilizing your best time because it's your class 10th, and you will get very less days of academic activity in the school. So, whatever material you get from your teachers, please go through them, study them, analyze them, and match with your NCRT or CBAC book. And so, with all my best wishes, children, let me continue with the agriculture chapter. Today, we will do the two beverage crops. Beverage crops, as I had said before in the beginning of agriculture chapter itself, that it is the crop that we generally use for drinking. So, tea and coffee are the two basic beverage crops in our country. They are also plantation crops and they remain in the soil for many years, and they are very important items of export as well. They are very important commercial crops for the country. First, I will start with tea. So, as I said, the common feature between both of them, both are beverage crops, that is tea and coffee. Both are beverage crops, both are plantation crops, both are commercial crops as well because they are exported outside our country, and India enjoys a very good position, very good ranking in respect of both production of tea and coffee in the world. Now, tea cultivation is practiced along the hill slopes of our country. So, it is a crop which can be grown under tropical conditions as well as subtropical conditions. Now, when I use the term tropical and subtropical, that means it can be grown in the areas which are below the Tropic of Cancer and above the Tropic of Cancer. But mind it, it is not grown in the flat plain areas, it is grown along the hill slopes of our country. Now, the hill slopes are very much necessary for the growing of these tea bushes because the tea plant or the tea bush do not require, or it can be detrimental for the tea plant if there is stagnant water around the roots of the plant. So, the water must touch the roots and must flow down. So, the sloping lands, the hill slopes, are best suited for the cultivation of tea. The hill slopes, as I said, is best suited for cultivation of tea, and the soil must be rich in humus as well as organic matter, and it must be well drained. Well drained means there must not be any kind of excess water in the soil. So, very deep, fertile, rich in humus, organic matter, and well drained soil is best suitable for growing of tea. Now, this is a very important factor because if there is any kind of excess water in the soil, then the tea bush will be harmed, it will die, it will rot. So, it is very much detrimental. Now, as we all know, children, that the tea bushes gives us tea leaves, and from the leaves, tea is prepared. It is processed. The tea leaves are processed. Now, this tea leaves will only come in the plant, only appear in the plant if there is continuous supply of rainwater. So, rainwater must be well distributed throughout the year so that continuously water is supplied and fresh leaves appear, and with lot of care 2 leaves and a bud is plucked. So these tea bushes, you will be surprised that some of the tea bushes are even 200 to 300 years old in the tea gardens of our country. In fact, this is a crop which have migrated from China. China was the first producer, and then we have started producing. So some of the tea bushes are even 200 to 300 years old. And any kind of frost is not good for the tea plant. Even in the winter days you'll be finding that in your garden, if there is frost is frozen dew. This I have taught you in class 9th as well, that in the winter months we find these tiny droplets of water in the early morning hours. Anything that is kept outside has tiny droplets of water on it, which we call as frozen dew, dewdrops. Now, what happens in the hill slopes, if the nighttime temperature falls below 0 degrees centigrade, those tiny droplets of water will freeze and they will become frost. So any kind of frost on the leaves will be very much detrimental. The tea bush can wither away, can die away. But still it is grown in the hill slopes of our northern states, because even if the leaves die, the bush will be there. The plant will be there. The leaves may die away, but the plant may be there. So it is grown even in the northern states as well as in the southern states. So we say it is tropical and subtropical climate. So children, the conditions will be warm, it must be frost free, and there must be continuous supply of water, frequent showers in the form of frequent showers. Showers means rainfall throughout the year. Now if you search the net, or if you go through some other material, you will find that they give you a temperature range of 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, and the rainfall amount is about 150 to 200 centimeter of rainfall. But as it is not given in your NCERT book, they will not ask you, and we will also not write anything. But for your information, for your knowledge, you must be knowing that the temperature range is from 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, and the rainfall amount is 150 to 200 centimeter of rainfall. So the tea is grown in the tropical as well as subtropical hill slopes. That is, our Western Ghats is growing, our Eastern Ghats is growing, and of course the Himalayan slopes are growing. Even the hill slopes in the northeastern part of our country are growing this tea. Tea requires abundant supply of cheap labor. Why? Because with lot of care, with lot of precision, just the fresh leaves, 2 leaves and a bud is plucked out, and it is done by the ladies. And children, tea bushes are pruned. Pruned means cut. From time to time it is cut so that the bush may not grow tall, because then it will be difficult to pluck the leaves and the bud. So from time to time it is pruned. There are 2 intentions. First thing, to keep the height of the bush lower so that the fresh leaves and the bud can be easily plucked. And the second important thing why it is pruned is that the more you prune, the more you cut the bushes, there will be growth of new branches. That's why it is cut from time to time. So it gives birth to new branches and new leaves if it is cut from time to time. So a huge lot of skilled labor is involved, and after the tea leaves are plucked, they are sent to the factories for further processing. and most of the time the factories are located close to these tea plantations, so that the freshness of the flavor is retained in the leaves. So the most famous of our tea is the Darjeeling tea, and apart from that we have Assam also growing very good quality tea. So from the northern states we have Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri districts in West Bengal, we have Assam. Then in the southern we have Tamil Nadu and Kerala as the most important areas growing tea. But apart from this, almost every state, the hilly states of northern India are growing tea. It is Himachal Pradesh, even our Meghalaya is growing, Tripura is growing, Andhra Pradesh in the south, Uttarakhand in the north. So different states of our country which are having hill slopes, they are growing this tea. And India is one of the leading producer as well as exporter of tea in the world. As I said, children, that tea is a very important commercial crop or cash crop for our country, and it earns money from us in the term of foreign exchange. Next comes our another plantation crop, that is coffee. Coffee is a very important crop of South India, and you will find that people of the southern states, they mostly drink coffee instead of tea. Now in the world there are two varieties of coffee which are grown, and they are coffee arabica and coffee robusta. Coffee arabica and coffee robusta. So arabica is a much popular variety of coffee in the world, and India also produces the coffee arabica variety. So Yemen is a country in the western part of Asia, and India has brought the seeds from there, and this coffee is grown in our country, which has been brought initially from Yemen. So in the world, the most important coffee growing country is Brazil. Brazil is the foremost one. Second is Vietnam. Third is Colombia. Fourth is Indonesia. And then we have another country, Ethiopia. Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Indonesia, Ethiopia, they are the main producer of coffee in the world. Now Indian coffee is also known for its very good quality, and we are producing a substantial quantity of coffee. Coffee is also a commercial crop for us, it is a plantation crop for us, and of course it's a beverage crop for us. So tea and coffee share a lot of similar conditions. Now here you will find that coffee is never grown in North India. Coffee in our country is grown only in the southern states. So it is basically a tropical crop. It is not a subtropical crop. Tea is grown both in the hill slopes of tropical and subtropical India, but coffee is only grown in tropical India. The main reason is that coffee cannot tolerate frost. Coffee cannot withstand a drop of low temperatures. So coffee is grown only in the tropical states, in the hill slopes of tropical states. It is never grown in the northern states. And coffee is prepared from the beans. Coffee beans are crushed and then it is fermented, and a lot of processing is there, and coffee is produced from the coffee beans, whereas tea is produced from the leaves. This is the first difference. Second difference is that coffee cannot tolerate frost at all. Tea bush can tolerate frost. The leaves may die, but the bush will remain. And the third important feature is that coffee is grown only in the tropical hill slopes of our country, whereas tea is grown both in the tropical as well as the subtropical hill slopes of our country. So these are the basic difference between tea and coffee. So in our country, the coffee Arabica variety is grown, and the main area where this is grown is the hill slopes of Karnataka, popularly known as the Baba Budan Hills. And Karnataka produces 71% of our coffee production of the country. Karnataka produces 71% of coffee that is grown in the country. Kerala is the next one. Kerala produces 21%. Tamil Nadu produces 5%. Apart from that, little bit of coffee is also grown in the hill slopes of Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, and they are the remaining producers of coffee in the country. Now coming to the horticulture crops. Children, there is no major question, never a question is asked from the horticulture crops. Horticulture crop includes the fruits and vegetables that is grown in the country. And as you all know that India is a country which is having so much of agricultural fertile tracts in the country. We are growing the largest in the world. The production of fruits and vegetables from our country is largest. Similarly, we are the largest consumer. The states lying to the south of Tropic of Cancer, they are the tropical states. The states lying to the north are subtropical states. So a wide variety of fruits and vegetables which is pertaining to the tropical conditions and the subtropical conditions are grown in the country. So you all know the different varieties of fruits you get in our country throughout the year. So we have mangoes, and different states are growing different varieties of mangoes in the country. So as in your book, the names are also given. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar, all of them are growing mangoes. Oranges of Nagpur and Cherrapunji. Cherrapunji is in Meghalaya. They are very much famous. Bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. You will be surprised, children, if you go to Tamil Nadu, you will find bananas which are red in color. The skin is red, and the size of the banana is also bigger than what we get in Bihar or Bengal. So lychee and guava of UP and Bihar. Pineapple is another fruit which is very much noted in Meghalaya. It's grown along the hill slopes of Meghalaya. Grapes of Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra. Apart from that, we have host of other fruits which are grown in different parts, like Himachal Pradesh is noted for its apples, pears, apricots. Apricots, it's slightly orange colored. If you see it in the see its picture, nowadays you get it in the departmental store, you will find it as a bigger sized raisin, that is kishmish, orange colored. You will find it as a bigger sized orange colored kishmish. So that's an apricot which is grown in the hill slopes of Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. And of course the dry fruits like walnut is there, which is also grown in Jammu Kashmir. We have cashews which are grown in Kerala. So a wide range of fruits are grown. Similarly, vegetables are also grown in our country in huge quantity. India produces 13% of world's vegetable, and we need not say the names. There's a wide range. You are consuming Delhi. So it is pea, cauliflower, cabbage, tomato, brinjal, potatoes and several of the gourd family. Whether it is bitter gourd or it is sponge gourd or it is ridge gourd. So a wide range of vegetables are grown in the country. So now we have just 3 crops left, children, which I will do next day. Today you all take down the notes, and tea and coffee notes simply you have to compile. But not only compiling is enough, children. I am giving it in tabular form so that you memorize them well. And for the geographical condition, children, you must remember the geographical condition. See children, the geographical conditions are always the natural conditions, that is temperature, rainfall, humidity and soil. So tea is asked very often, question on tea, geographical conditions of growing tea, then rice, wheat, those which are given in your book, sugarcane, they are asked frequently, and those which are not given, they will not ask. So the geographical conditions are very important, and of course the non-geographical conditions are like in tea we have the requirement of abundant supply of cheap skilled labor. So these are very important. So let me give you just the notes of tea today. So tea, and I'm giving off rubber also because I've written that in a single page. So next day when I will do, of course I will do rubber, but I'm giving you the rubber notes today itself. You all take it down, and next day I will just give you the notes of cotton and jute. So take down the notes, children, first. Yes children, coming to the notes, first we will start with tea. So for tea, the season is not there because it is neither kharif nor rabi crop. Temperature warm and moist, frost free climate throughout the year. Rainfall, frequent showers evenly distributed throughout the year. Soil, deep and fertile, well drained soil, rich in humus and organic matter. Growing states: Assam, West Bengal, hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh, Tripura. Special requirement: abundant supply of cheap skilled labor. Special feature: grows in both tropical and subtropical climate. Plantation as well as beverage crop. Third largest producer after China and Turkey. Processed within tea gardens to restore freshness. Processed within tea gardens to restore freshness. Then as I said, I will give you rubber also. So write down rubber. Temperature above 25 degrees centigrade. Rainfall, moist and humid climate with more than 200 centimeter of rainfall. Humidity high. States are Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Garu Hills of Meghalaya. Special requirement: equatorial crop but can be grown in tropical and subtropical areas under special condition. And then special feature: important industrial raw material, fourth in production after Thailand, Indonesia and Vietnam. Fourth in production after Thailand, Indonesia and Vietnam. So rubber, children, I will do it next day. You all take down the notes, and very little you have to study today because just tea and rubber and horticulture crops I have. Tea and coffee and horticulture crops I have given, and in notes tea and rubber you have to do. Thank you children. Have a good day.